You'd pointed me in the direction of so many good resources, places you could go to find, data as to what the public is searching for, resources to build a team, whether it's an in-person team or a remote digital team, and all of that. So just leaving, coming coming in naked and leaving clothes, I would say, is the way it felt. So I highly
Awesome.
recommend this on.
I'm so excited to have Matt Smurda with me right now. And I can't say thank you enough for you doing this with me. Please go ahead, first of all, introduce yourself.
Well, it's my pleasure. Always nice to see you, Hassan. I'm Matthew Smurda. I am a family law attorney in Los Angeles. So family law includes things like divorces, child custody cases, things like that. And I've known Hassan for several years now. We've been working together more recently. We started out just kind of as friends and colleagues. But since I started working with you, it has been phenomenal. From the first session that we truly sat down together and I kind of explained, my aspirations with a project that was outside of what I normally do. I guess you'd call it a digital media project or something like that.
Exactly.
For a lawyer like myself, that's, completely out there. It's like, like a doctor trying to repair a car or something. And so, and you knew exactly what to do. You were able to very quickly, after, maybe about 15, 20 minutes of conversation, you got it, and you were able to kind of diagnose, okay, this is what we have to do. This is where we have to go. This is what we have to figure out. And then immediately you had kind of a plan of attack, which I think was great, where we started out basically like identifying who the customer would be. I think that was super helpful. Because I hadn't even really thought about it in that respect. I was thinking about the idea and the execution. And
exactly. It's like sometimes we find we have this idea and we want to sell the idea. But before we do that, what does the market want? What do they desire? And I'd have this issue. I'm writing the copy. It's not about what I think. It's about what does the market want? What do they desire? And it's interesting that you said that. So tell me, what was it like before just me coming into the picture?
Well, I mean, that's probably easiest described as before it was an idea, and that's all it was just an idea, a concept, a figment of imagination. And then when we started working together, it went from an idea to a plan of execution, which I think anybody can tell you in any kind of business, whatever that is, whether it's law, finance, marketing, doesn't matter. You can have a lot of good ideas, but those are meaningless without the execution, right? And not everybody knows how to execute. There's nothing wrong with that. You just need help sometimes. And that was where you came in. So I thought that was really, really helpful.
That's awesome. And during the process, just us having like a couple sessions together, what would you say the thing that really gave you an aha moment that you really enjoyed through the experience?
Well, I mean, there were a few aha moments, so it's hard to really pick one. I think the aha moment really came, though, basically when we completed the identification of who the customer was. And at that point, it went from, okay, how do I create this and sell it to the mass public, as opposed to, that's what it was before. And then it came into, well, okay, how do I, market and sell this to, Jane Doe, who is, this old in this market, this level of income, going through this kind of problem. And then that kind of helps you work your way into coming up with other solutions and
That's
more
awesome.
tailored strategies and stuff. So I thought that was really helpful, just to kind of take it from here and get it more to here,
I love that. I love that you said that. It's a lot about processing and perspective and reflecting on what's working, what's not. Because someone could tell you this is the right way, but it might work for them, but it might not work for you until you test it in the market, which is interesting. Right. That's awesome. And what was it like after? Like when we basically we stopped and you transitioned, you went your way, I went my way. What was it like after?
Well, I mean, it was great in the sense that, where I was when we were finished, I was so much better off. You pointed me in the direction of so many good resources, places you could go to find, data as to what the public is searching for, resources to build a team, whether it's an in-person team or a remote digital team, and all of that. So just leaving, coming coming in naked and leaving clothes, I would say, is the way it felt.
That's awesome. Awesome. Now tell me, who would you recommend the program for, based on performance or based on the consulting aspect, operations, processing? Who would you recommend this to?
Well, I think it would work based on my experience. I think it would work best for people like myself who have a small business with only a couple employees working for me. I think that is a really good fit for me. Not saying that it couldn't be used for a larger scale operation, but just for my personal experience, I found that the approach was very effective, and it was also very reasonably priced for businesses of my size. So I would say probably small businesses, or it could even just be an individual who maybe somebody who has a 9-to-5 job and they're looking to kind of grow a side hustle or a new hustle that can kind of be their golden parachute out of the rat race. I think it'd be good for somebody like that too.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Matt. Now, the person that's watching this, anything else would you want to share?
The great thing about working with Hassan is he's a really good communicator, and he really listens to what you say, and then he takes what he hears and kind of brings it back usually with a very active solution. He's a very solution-oriented guy, so he's a good guy to just bounce ideas off of. And I did that even for my primary business, which really didn't have much to do with what you and I originally started to work on, and he had some really good ideas. So I think you're just a good resource for anybody who is looking for whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a companion. I think you'd be a good fit for that. So I highly recommend Hassan.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate you.